Welcome to Master Your Money, Budgeting, Saving, and Debt-Free Living. I'm your host, Nate Tanner. On this show, we use the Triggator triangle, budget, save, and pay off debt to help you build a spending plan that fits your life, grow your savings with purpose, and knock out debt with confidence. Let's start with a story. A few years ago, I got a frantic call from a friend. His car had broken down again, and he was panicking about how to pay for the repairs. It's an emergency, he said. But here's the thing. This was the third time in 6 months. Same car, same issue, same panic. Now, I'm not judging because I've been there too, but that moment sparked a realization. Not everything that feels like an emergency is one. Some things are just alligators, those sneaky, predictable, non-monthly expenses that lurk beneath the surface, waiting to chomp down on your peace of mind. In today's episode, we're diving deep into the difference between alligator expenses and true emergencies. Because when you can tell the difference, you can stop reacting and start planning. We'll talk about how to spot alligator expenses before they bite, what actually counts as an emergency and what doesn't, and how to build buffers and peace of mind funds for both. We'll also bust a few myths, share some real-life stories, and give you the tools to build a spending plan that's proactive, not panic-driven. And yes, we'll even talk about how the upcoming Triggator app will make tracking alligator expenses and emergency buffers easier than ever. So whether you've been blindsided by a busted water heater or just tired of feeling like your money's always in crisis mode, this episode is for you. Let's get into it. How to identify and forecast alligator expenses before they bite. Let's talk about your job title. No, not your 9-to-5 title. I'm talking about your real title, the one that matters most when it comes to your money. You're the CFO of You, Inc. That's right. You're the Chief Financial Officer of your life. And one of the most important jobs of any CFO, planning for irregular but predictable expenses. The kind that don't show up every month, but when they do, they can throw your whole spending plan into chaos, unless you've already got them on your radar. We call these sneaky little suckers alligator expenses. They're not emergencies. They're not surprises. They're just lurking in the weeds, waiting for you to forget they exist until they snap. What would a real CFO do? Let's take a look at a real-world example. Imagine you're the CFO of Disney. Every few years, you know that you're going to be releasing a new Marvel movie. That's not a surprise, it's part of the plan. But the marketing budget for that movie? It's not a normal monthly expense. It's a massive, irregular, but totally predictable cost. So what does Disney's CFO do? They don't wait until the premiere date and then scramble for cash. They plan for it. They allocate funds ahead of time. They build it into the budget, even if it's not happening every month. That's exactly what you need to do with your alligator expenses. The alligator investigation, spotting past bites. Let's say you're not sure where your alligator expenses are. That's okay. It just means it's time to put on your detective hat, preferably one with a Sherlock Holmes vibe, and launch an alligator investigation. Your mission, find the gators that have already bitten your spending plan. Here's how to start. First, gather the evidence. Log into your bank account, and if you're new to Triggator and are still using credit cards, which, by the way, you should stop, log in there too. Pull as many transactions as you can, ideally going back 2 years. Now, most banks let you download a CSV file with a custom date range. It's easy peasy. But credit cards, maybe not so much. They tend to make it a little harder, almost like they don't want you to see how you are using their money. But don't let that stop you. Even if it means clicking through every monthly statement, get the data. As Tom Hanks, aka Jimmy Dugan in A League of Their Own once said, it's supposed to be hard. If it wasn't hard, everyone would do it. It's the hard that makes it great. Second, sort the clues. Once you've got your transactions, it's time to sort. Think like a detective. Sort by payees. This helps you spot patterns. Eliminate the obvious. Paycheck expenses like gas, groceries, regular tithing. These things happen every paycheck. Monthly expenses, utilities, subscriptions, debt payments. These are clockwork. Delete those from your suspect list. Here's a quick pro tip. Just because you shop at Walmart or Target regularly doesn't mean every purchase is a paycheck expense. Check the date. Was it around Black Friday? Back to school season? If so, keep it. That might be an alligator in disguise. Third, identify the prime suspects. What's left over are your likely gators. DMV registration fees every October, car repairs every few months, annual Costco membership renewals, holiday gifts in December, summer camp deposits in May. These aren't random. They're seasonal, cyclical, and completely predictable, if you're paying attention. Fourth, make your accusation. Like a game of Clue, it's time to call it. I think the gator was in the Costco renewal in August with the $49. This isn't about guilt or shame. It's about discovery. You're not judging your past. You're learning from it so that you can plan for the future. Why this matters? Remember my friend with the emergency car repair every other month? That wasn't an emergency. That was an alligator with a calendar. When we don't plan for these expenses, they feel like crises. But when we do, they're just a line item on our spending plan. And here's the good news. Once you've spotted your past gators, you can start preparing for the future ones. In the next section, we'll talk about how to tell the difference between a real emergency and an alligator in disguise, because not everything that feels urgent is actually unexpected. But before we go there, here's a quick heads up. The upcoming Triggator app will make this whole alligator investigation process way easier. You'll be able to tag, track, and plan for non-monthly expenses with just a few clicks. No spreadsheets, no detective hat required. Let's move on and talk about what really counts as an emergency and how to build peace of mind funds that actually bring peace. What truly counts as an emergency and what doesn't? Let's rewind to a classic moment from The Simpsons. In the episode I Love Lisa, Homer forgets it's Valentine's Day. Total panic. He sprints to the Quickie Mart where Apu, ever the opportunist, offers him a heart-shaped box of chocolates for a cool $100. Homer, desperate to avoid Marge's wrath, coughs up the cash. Meanwhile, Apu smirks and thinks if he discovers the discount supermarket next door, all is lost. It's hilarious, but it's also a perfect example of how an alligator expense can feel like an emergency. Valentine's Day is always February 14th. It's not a surprise. And if you're in a relationship, odds are you're going to buy a gift. But when you don't plan for it, you end up in a last-minute scramble, overpaying for something that you could have snagged for a third of the price, if you had just planned ahead. So if an angry partner on Valentine's Day isn't an emergency, what is? Let's go to the source that's been defining things since 1828, Merriam-Webster. It defines an emergency as an unforeseen combination of circumstances or the resulting state that calls for immediate action. Let's break that down. What makes an emergency an emergency? There are two key parts to this definition. First, unforeseen. A true emergency is something that you didn't see coming. It's not something that you could have reasonably predicted or planned for. A car accident, emergency. A sudden job loss, emergency. A pipe burst flooding your basement, emergency. Your kid's birthday party, wait, not an emergency. That's an alligator with a party hat. Now, here's where it gets a little nuanced. You can plan for emergencies in general. That's what your emergency fund is for. You don't know what will happen, but you know something will. So you build a buffer to absorb the shock. For example, you might not know when your 15-year-old water heater is going to give out, but you know it's coming. That's why you save. But when it finally does flood your laundry room and short out your furnace, that's an emergency. You didn't know the when, and you couldn't have predicted the how. Second, calls for immediate action. This is the second half of the definition, and it's just as important. A true emergency demands your attention right now. There's no waiting, no rescheduling, no I'll deal with it next week. Let's look at a few examples. Your toddler swallows a Lego, immediate action. Your car breaks down on the freeway in a snowstorm, immediate action. Your roof starts leaking during a thunderstorm, immediate action. These are situations where delay could cause harm to your health, your safety, or your home. That's what separates a true emergency from an alligator expense. Now let's be clear, alligators can feel like emergencies, especially when you're not prepared, but that doesn't make them one. Turning emergencies into alligators. Here's where the magic happens. After an emergency, once the dust settles and your heart rate returns to normal, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, was this truly unforeseen? Could I have anticipated this based on past patterns? Should I plan for this in the future? Let me give you a personal example. My son loves football. He's played 3 seasons in our local youth tackle league. During the first season, he took a hard hit, and we rushed him to the doctor for x-rays. Thankfully, it was just a bruised bone. Second season, another injury, another doctor's visit. By the third season, I finally caught on. I added a line item to our alligator plan, football season medical visit. Sure enough, season 3 brought another hard hit and another trip to the doctor. But this time, it wasn't a financial emergency. It was a planned for alligator. That's the power of reflection. You can take what was an emergency and turn it into something that you're ready for next time. Questions to ask yourself. Here are a few prompts to help you spot potential alligators in disguise. Do you have a child with glasses? What are the odds of them being lost or broken? Is your 15-year-old water heater celebrating its 12th birthday? Did your county assessor raise your home value and your property taxes? Has your car needed repairs every few months? Do you always forget about back-to-school shopping until August? These aren't surprises, they're patterns, and patterns are predictable. Predictable means plannable, and plannable means alligator. Peace of mind comes from preparation. There are absolutely real emergencies, job loss, medical crises, car accidents, natural disasters. That's why the save side of the triangle exists. It's not just about saving for fun stuff. It's about building buffers to protect your peace. Because when life hits hard, the last thing you need is financial panic. You need to be present, focused, and calm for yourself and the people you love. So don't let an alligator in disguise steal your peace. And remember, the pizza guy knocking at your door, still not an emergency. Building buffers and peace of mind funds for both scenarios. There's an old story from the Wild West about a shipper looking to hire a new wagon driver. He interviews 3 candidates and asks each one of them the same question. How close can you drive to the edge of a cliff without going over? The first driver boasts, I can get within 2 feet. The second smirks, I can get within 1 foot. But the third thinks for a moment and says, I don't get close to the edge. I stay as far from it as possible. Guess who got the job? That third driver understood something the others didn't. The best way to protect what matters is to stay far away from danger, not flirt with it. When it comes to your money, the same principle applies. As the CFO of You, Inc., your job isn't to see how close you can get to financial disaster without falling over. Your job is to build buffers, peace of mind funds that keep you far from the edge. That's what the save side of the Triggator triangle is all about. The two walls of protection, alligator funds and emergency funds. Let's break it down. You need two types of buffers. You need alligator funds. Those are for predictable, non-monthly expenses. Think car registration, back to school shopping, holiday gifts, annual subscriptions. You know they're coming. Second, emergency funds. These are for the truly unforeseen. Job loss, medical emergencies, major home repairs, the stuff that blindsides you. Both are essential and both give you something money can't usually buy: peace of mind. Pay yourself first because emergencies are inevitable. You've heard it before and you'll hear it again. Pay yourself first. Emergencies are unpredictable, but they are not unlikely. I have never met someone who's gone through life without one. The question isn't if something will happen, it's when. That's why we build emergency funds. The gold standard, 6 months of expenses. Now, I know that number can feel intimidating, but take a moment and imagine what it would feel like to have that kind of cushion. 6 months of breathing room, 6 months of not panicking if life throws you a curveball. Can you feel that peace? That's the goal. And like every worthy goal, it's not something that you reach overnight. It's a climb. So let's talk about the savings ladder, your step-by-step path to peace of mind. The Triggator Savings Ladder, $500 saved, your first rung. If you've never had $500 saved before, this is a game changer. It's your first taste of financial peace. $1,000 saved. You're ahead of the curve. According to a recent Bankrate survey, only 41% of Americans could cover a $1,000 emergency with savings. $2,000 saved. Now you're covered for most common emergencies. Car repairs, medical copays, appliance breakdowns. No more reaching for the credit card. 1 month of expenses. You're building real resilience. You can weather a short-term job loss or unexpected bill without panic. 2 months all the way up to 6 months of expenses. This is the ultimate peace of mind zone. You've built a financial fortress. Emergencies still happen, but they don't shake you. And remember, don't try to save what's left over. Spend what's left after you save. That's how you climb the ladder. Buffers for alligators. Now let's talk about your alligator plan. Let's say you spent $200 on back-to-school shopping last year. This year, you decide to plan ahead and save $250 just in case prices go up. That extra $50, if you start early and spread it across 26 paychecks, that's less than $2 a check. That's the power of proactive saving. It's not about perfection, it's about preparation. And here's the kicker. When you start early, you give your money time to work for you. You reduce stress, you avoid debt, and you stay far from the edge of the cliff. In The Office, there's a moment when Dwight Schrute says, "Whenever I'm about to do something, I think, would an idiot do that? And if they would, I do not do that thing." Now, I'm not calling anyone an idiot, but there's wisdom in that. When it comes to your money, ask yourself, would future me thank me for this? Am I building a buffer or walking towards the cliff? Coming soon, the Triggator app will make savings for alligators and emergencies easier than ever. You'll be able to set up your alligator plan, track your progress on your savings ladder, and get reminders before expenses sneak up on you. It's like having a financial co-pilot right in your pocket. Building buffers isn't about fear. It's about freedom. When you've got peace of mind funds in place, you don't live on the edge. You can breathe. You can focus on what matters, and you can live your life without the constant hum of financial anxiety in the background. So take your place on the ladder, start where you are, and commit to climbing. Because the view from the top, it's worth it. Picture this. You're no longer the wagon driver clinging to the edge of the cliff. You're the one confidently steering down the center of the trail, cargo secured, eyes forward, peace intact. That's what happens when you learn to spot the differences between Alligator Expenses and true emergencies. You stop reacting and start leading. You stop scrambling and start planning. You become the kind of CFO who doesn't just survive financial surprises, you sidestep them entirely. You've got the tools, you've got the mindset. Now it's time to build the buffers that keep you far from the edge. Today, your daily challenge is to take 10 minutes to assess where you are on the Triggator emergency savings ladder. Do you have your first 500 saved? Are you ready to climb to 1,000? Can you stretch towards 1 month of expenses? Pick your next rung and commit to it. Write it down, set a reminder, tell someone, then take one small step, automate a transfer, skip a takeout meal, or reassign a refund to move closer to that goal. Because peace of mind isn't a pipe dream, it's a plan, and you're building it. What's that one alligator expense that's bitten you in the past? Have you ever mistaken an alligator for an emergency? What's your next goal on the Triggator emergency savings ladder? I'd love to hear your stories, your wins, and your questions. Email me at podcast@Triggator.com or message me at Instagram, Facebook, or X @Triggator. If this episode helped you, follow the show so that you never miss a chance to build peace of mind before your next emergency hits. Leave a review, especially if this episode helped you rethink what's truly urgent. Share this episode with a friend who's always one surprise away from financial stress. And don't forget to follow @Triggator on social media for tips, encouragement, and behind-the-scenes content. Want to go deeper? Download the free Triggator ebook at Triggator.com and start building your alligator plan today. It's packed with tools to help you plan, save, and breathe easier. Want to help shape the future of budgeting? Join the beta release of the Triggator App, designed to help you track alligator expenses, build buffers, and much more, so that you can stay ahead of the curve. To get early access, email me at podcast@Triggator.com, and I'll add you to the beta list. Next time on Master Your Money, we're diving into the art of the stretch. Not yoga, but your spending plan. We'll explore how to get more from every dollar in everyday categories like utilities, insurance, subscriptions, and transportation. You'll learn how to negotiate, time your purchases, and use tech to find deals without feeling like you're cutting corners. Best of all, you'll discover how to reassign those found dollars to your peace of mind funds or debt elimination plan. If you've ever wondered how to stretch your money without stretching yourself thin, you won't want to miss it. Remember, emergencies may be unpredictable, but your peace of mind doesn't have to be. When you plan for the alligators and prepare for the storms, you don't just survive, you lead. You're not just building a spending plan, you're building a life of confidence, clarity, and calm. Thanks for listening to Master Your Money, Budgeting, Saving, and Debt-Free Living. I'm your host, Nate Tanner. See you next time.